All right, another podcast from the Michigan Institute of Athletics in Brighton, Michigan. It's going to be an awesome podcast today. I'm joined by Billy Gunther, recording artist out of Flint, Michigan. But right before we get into it, I want to shout out VetLife. VetLife is a 501c3 nonprofit company. It's a company of veterans for veterans. Every veteran faces difficulties when they transition from active duty back to civilian life, and VetLife is there to ease that transition. If you want to reach out to VetLife, you can do so through Instagram or Facebook, or check out their website at vetlifetoday.org. So without further ado, Billy Gunther. I was explaining to you a little bit before the podcast. I like to shoot these complete, long format, authentic, organic. I don't know anything about you other than the fact that you are involved with music, and you live here in Flint, and you're a fan of MMA, which ended up being super cool. But let's start this episode the way that I start all of mine. Let's take your story all the way back, man. What were you like as a young man? Where were you born and raised? What was the family life like? What did you think this life had in store for you, or what was your first trajectory or aim? And let's start to unveil the story for how you got here to where you are today.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you for having me on the podcast. And, I haven't actually got to really tell the story in depth like this before, so it's really cool to be able to do that. I guess for me, I've always been attached to music, I guess real young, I grew up without my dad. I had a lot of great father figures in my life, like my grandpa and stuff like that. But, as a kid, it was, gone through a tough time early on, and music was something that I really attached to. So I ran with that. I'm very passionate about what I do, and like the thing, like I have like, what's it called? Whenever you have like, selective hearing. I kind of have that, like, just with what I'm doing, it's like I have to be really passionate about it to do it. And if I'm not, I just kind of won't. But
if you took me all the way back, what was it about music? Was it an escape? Was it a feling that it gave you? Was it an inspiration?
It was an escape. Yeah, it was an escape, and the melodies, I don't know, it just really did something for me. Like the lyrics, I would always notice the lyrics last. And, in high school and even growing up, like I didn't like English class. I barely passed it. And, which is weird because now I'm very passionate about writing, and, it's a huge part of what I do. So it's like, it's funny that I didn't do that. But yeah, man, I'd say just the music, the escape, the way that it, made me feel, and I just, I want to feel like that all the time, so I just always create music, and I go back to that.
I think that makes perfect sense, man. I mean, human beings are driven by the way we feel. It's called our limbic system. We make most of our decisions based on the way that we feel, not even what we think. So it makes sense that it was giving you a feeling that was probably missing when, when there's trauma or difficulty, or I lost my mother when I was young. You need something that gives you the hope that the future is going to be brighter than the present circumstances. And if you feel something and you go, wow, maybe this is the feeling that I'm kind of searching for. Maybe there's a way I can have this in my life long term.
Yeah.
Maybe my life doesn't need to just be darkness. Do you remember
absolutely
the first couple artists that made like a huge impact on you? Like, who was it as a kid?
Yeah. My first concert was Justin Timberlake. My mom took me to Justin Timberlake at somewhere in Detroit. I think it was like Ford Field or something like that. But huge show, the whole experience really, I just felt like I was just in a daze. It's just like from all the people to seeing the show and the Showtime coming out, and Pink opened up, and watching her come out and do her thing. The whole experience, just like I got home and I remembered feeling just like, wow, like that was really cool. Didn't really know what I just saw, but that was really freaking cool. And then I had a friend that played guitar, and I went and seen him play at just like a local bar. And I seen him play guitar, and just the band, and I had that feeling again, from whenever she took me to the concert when I was younger. And I was like, oh, guitar. Like, Mom, I want a guitar for Christmas. It was like November. And she was like, all right, I'll get you a guitar for Christmas. Are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. So I get it. First day, I learned Hell's Bells by AC/DC and Who Wouldn't Want to Be Me by Keith Urban, and just have not set the guitar down since. And it just literally, I sang before I played guitar, so I was very passionate about singing. I'd like sing on the school bus, or like through the walkie-talkie thing, or I'd sing it just to my grandma in the car or something like that, always singing, very passionate about that, and I knew I wanted to do that. But guitar came after, and it's also another voice, and it's another way to express yourself that everybody can relate to, just like your voice. So it was just something that took me quite a while to really understand, how my voice fits in with that instrument, because I was so drawn to it. I think from Keith Urban, he really inspired me to play guitar.
That's fascinating too that you had such a natural affinity for it. It's rare for a lot of people that like something that they find passion in, they also have natural talent for. Like the fact that you learned 2 songs your first day ever holding a guitar, that's remarkable.
Yeah. And we kind of thought the same thing, and it was like, okay, my mom didn't feel like upset about spending $500 on a guitar, so that was good. Very thankful for that, mother.
So did this turn into like a huge part of your identity as a child then? As soon as you like took on music and you have the guitar now, were you the musician in school?
No, I kept it secret. It was something I just like went in my room and locked myself in my room and just did on my own. And then nobody knew I played until it was time to do the senior project, and I played a Keith Urban song. It's called Stupid Boy. That song specifically actually got me into music. Like I heard that song and the guitar solo at the end of it, and it was like, whatever that is, like, that's what I want to do right there. It was just it for me. So, not that I base all of my playing around him. It's like I'm also I was influenced by Eddie Van Halen before him. I'm not really my style of playing, but it spoke to me. And in my later days now, I'm really a huge fan of Larry McCray, his playing, and Joe Bonamassa. Let's see, who else do I really enjoy? Marcus King. Really like listening to Marcus King. So yeah, I got really a blues, southern rock. Duane Allman, he's a huge inspiration for me. But yeah, whenever I started making all those voicings up, hearing things that I like in my head, and now I'm to a point where I can sit down and write a full song and take it to a studio, and I know what I want. You can always hear the things that that don't fit in. You hear something and it's like, oh, that doesn't really work. But all those inspirations and everything just led up to me being able to write a song successfully.
So what age are you when you pick up the guitar, you start becoming obsessed with this is what it sounds like. You're in your room, you have it's almost like a ritual. It's a healing process too when you find something like that you're ultra passionate about. It really helps you heal wounds that are psychological or in your subconscious. When is this in the timeline of your life, and how does that fit into the normal society where it's like, hey, are you going to go to college? What job are you going to get?
Oh, yeah.
Because you have all of those pressures. A lot of the times the passionate people that want to pursue a dream, you have to face the mounting pressure of, are you going to be a failure? Are you going to...
Yeah. So something I think early on, I used to watch these interviews. So I started playing in my room, 16 years old, I'd be in there just learning how to play AC/DC songs or, Joe Bonamassa riff or something like that. And I started playing live music, and that really gave me the itch. That really, whenever I started playing live and feeling the shows and feeling the energy of the crowd, getting the responses, and, oh man, I guess, everything, it kind of builds up this ego after a while. And then you have to figure out like what you're gonna do with that, because you're not that person. You just have these qualities that make you feel really awesome, and you have to fit in with that. I think I got away from the original question. What was the?
It's no problem. I was just saying you start to find your guitar passion, but then you have to combat what society wants you to do, and society wants to box most people in.
Okay.
Like passionate, artistic people are not really supported in our society.
Yeah. Okay. I remember. I have ADHD, so I totally sidetracked there. But
it doesn't bother me at all, man. Authentic conversation. I don't care. Wherever it goes, we go.
That's cool. I love it. So I guess I know where I was getting with that. I watched this interview, and it was just Keith Urban saying that, he didn't have a plan B. He only had a plan A. And you got to think, this guy's like my hero. Like I'm listening to every word that he says, just like with, passion, and it's just like, okay, I really took that to heart at like 17 years old. I'm watching that, and it's like, okay, only have a plan A, don't have a plan B. And sometimes it has felt incredibly stupid to say that, but, and I guess whenever it comes down to just if I need money or something like that, I'll go take it. I've taken several jobs just to get by. I used to work at Arby's or Little Caesars or whatever, but always done what I had to do to get by. That stuff doesn't really bother me. It's just something that is getting me along to my journey, to my goal. So yeah, I've never really just been worried about that. I've always had enough faith instilled in that, like, it's gonna work out as long as I don't give up, and as long as I keep writing songs,
And you're speaking to someone that I'm that way. I've only had a plan A. I
Yeah.
joke around and tell my fighters the reason I'm successful is because I set out on a path and I said I don't care what obstacles appear in the path.
Mm-hmm.
It won't make me change the path. Like, I'm not going to get to some obstacle and go, oh, man, I need to make a hard left. No, I will get over the obstacle, through it, under
Exactly.
it, around it, have a friend help me break it down. Like,
Yeah.
when you have that type of conviction to cause, like, I'm going this way.
Oh, yeah.
No matter what. Those are the people that break through to the next level, because it's just too hard otherwise. You need so much passion, you need so much drive, you need so much commitment and conviction to your cause, and no one's going to have the conviction that you have for your dream. Like, you have to have it.
Yeah, and I came to terms with that, probably when I was like, I don't know, 26, 27. I remember really having those thoughts and being like, okay, I was getting depressed and I was playing the victim card and stuff like that, and which is totally, it's human nature. It's fine to do that, but I realized it and I was like, okay, I need to, own up to this and not believe in this and believe in myself and get back to my roots. Why am I doing this? And I'm doing it because this is my passion and I'm not going to do anything else. So for me, it's either do this or I pretty much die, I slowly die, I guess. But, music is just it, it's what I'm doing.
We got to go deeper into those topics because there's an incredible amount of insight in that. And I think your power lies in those moments of your life. So let's start to build from the fact that you're graduating high school. What did you think you were going to do next? Was it like, hey, I'm just going to work this job, but I'm going to make it as a artist? Take me through the story of, okay, your passion, there's a path for you, you're trying to make it happen, and I'm sure that the amount of competition you have.
I was also really lucky. I will say I was lucky to be in a really good band, my first band, and it was Danny Vitani and the 10 Hands Tall band, and great members, insane musicians, and they had so much confidence and so much wisdom in the group, and that really spoke to me. It really set a good example of what that is. It did break up, stuff fizzled, people, stuff happens, it didn't end up working out, but I was lucky to be in that band and to be making good money at first, and I didn't have to work another job. I was making enough money through making music, and I was living at my mom's house.
Were you playing guitar at this point? Were you singing?
So I was so I've always been in the gym. So the gym really along with music, I used to weigh 320 pounds. I'm currently like 220, so I want to get that back down to like 190. I got some new goals I've been working with, but I got a hernia when I was like 25, something like that, and so I went from 320 to 190 in 2 years, just short of 2 years, and got the hernia like right there, boom, and kind of, you can't do anything for a couple months. Got through it, but just haven't been able to really, get as solid as I was, I guess disciplined as I was during that process. There's like this phase that you tap into, like, I feel like whenever you're like really on top of shit, music and working out, I started working out, and that really taught my self-discipline, and I guess it just helped me manage all of those thoughts, and I was looking at myself in the mirror, like, you being like, you can do this, and it's like, I feel like that's very important, is to really sit down with yourself and let yourself know that, like, you can do this, and like nobody's going to do it for you, and truly accepting that.
Do you remember the point in your life? Why did you flip a switch that you were going to start working? You said you were over 300 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
You flipped some switch and
I was just pissed, man. I was going to the doctor. They was telling me I had diabetes and I had sleep apnea. I had a face mask thing when I was sleeping. And I looked up the medicine, and the medicine like deteriorates your like kidneys. I'm just like, this is so stupid. I was like, and I don't know. I believe in medicine, but I just think there's other ways. I think there's natural things. I think there's honesty to be had with yourself that can help you get through those leaps.
Stay off alcohol, get proper sleep, exercise, eat better foods, move your body, take care of your mental health, and all of a sudden the medical industry is almost barely needed for intervention. Our body can do incredible things if you provide it the right structure and setting to
and it's
give
extremely hard to get on top of that in this day and age.
100%.
Extremely hard.
100%. And you need incredible, like you said, discipline, conviction, and you have to know that the journey is worth it. Like, being on all kinds of medication because you're treating symptoms really because you won't make major lifestyle change is a hell that you don't really want to experience. Like you might think, oh, I just need this for this. And then that's going to lead to more side effects, which now you need this for that. And it's a slow downward spiral towards a crash site.
That a lot of people are experiencing. I feel like I see a lot of it. And
so you just got tired of...
I've experienced it myself. I haven't... Even like right now, like I'm not on top of it. Like I'm not beating myself up or anything like that. But like, it's hard. You're getting on control of your environment, and your lifestyle is, I don't know. Like for me in the music industry, there's always an opportunity to have a couple beers or to go out and hang out with your friends. I was living in Nashville for a year, and it was just like there was nights it was just like boom, boom, boom every night. It's like somebody wants to go out and have a couple beers, and it's like, wow, it's like Monday, And and then also as I'm doing that, having the mind that I do, it's like understanding those things. So it's like I understand that it's like this is something that is a lot of people are experiencing that it's just tough to get a hold of, And nobody's got to be perfect, I don't think. I don't think that that's going to happen, but that would just be crazy.
You need to, in my opinion, you need to develop the self-mastery to be able to do what's right and make the decisions when you want to without being a slave to the decisions or not looking back and regretting the decisions later. You have to get to the point where you're able to say yes or no to drinking in the moment or this, that, or to the decisions you make. You have the self-mastery that if it's the right decision for you, you can make it and let go of the guilt of it. And a lot of people, they just don't have that type of discipline on themselves. So they make decisions and they write it off as like, oh, it's fine. Like I'm having a blast and everything. But if it's leading you away from your goals, leading you into a spot you don't want to be, it's deteriorating your health, it's taking you further off the track. Those little moments, those little pleasures are not worth sacrificing long-term fulfillment, goal attainment. Like the ability to feel good over a sustained period of time without needing a momentary stimulus. So it's like that's what we're all working towards. And that is very hard in a society where we're constantly busy, pressured, shamed, guilted. You have all of these different things in a big melting pot, and you're trying to balance that. It's
like sometimes when I go to do something like, like just make a guitar video or something like that, all the ways that you see it being done, those thoughts creep in, and it sometimes holds you back. On my worst days, on my best days, I could care less. It's like I'm just gonna make a video. But yeah, it's like I see a lot of people. I see a lot of people struggling with that, and I think that we can overcome it. I definitely want to and plan to.
And it's crazy that we're speaking so much about the battles of the mind because music is a form of therapy. You see it in the listeners. People can dramatically change their lives through inspiration that they receive from music. It can give you that feeling, that fire in your chest or whatever, even comfort, whatever it is. Like we've probably all experienced moments where like a song touched you in a way where like you remembered who you really are. You remembered the potential that exists within you and for your life, or you remembered special moments of your life or special feelings. So it's like you're providing this therapy for the world through an outlet that's probably a therapy for you.
It is 100%. Oh yeah, those whenever I, after writing a song or playing a song that really heartfelt, feels amazing. Nothing better in the world than playing it in front of people and people singing it along with you. It's like insane.
Start to walk me through your story then. So you set out at, you graduate high school. What was your plan? Like, you're in the band. You guys, are you already touring, et cetera? And then how do the different steps start to go as you go down this journey? Were there big disappointments? Were there big breakthrough moments where you're like, oh my God, like we might make it?
Yeah.
Kind of walk me through the different pivotal points of your career up to this point. How old are you today?
Yeah, I'm 29.
You're 29 now. So start to walk me through, after you graduate high school, what are the big moments that are leading you to where you are?
All right. So, I started playing when I was 19. So it started there, in a band. That band broke up. Started another band. This band I started working in more of my original songwriting. I had written like 10 songs at this point, and I'm like, all right, these songs are good enough. Let's go recording them. So we did that. And I guess, when you're doing stuff for the first time along the way, it always just, there's a fire there. It sparks a fire, and you ride with that momentum, and I'm always, I guess, looking for the opportunity for momentum. As soon as I see it or recognize it or feel it, I'm just like, all right, there it is. Let's run with that, and kind of leaves me from questioning things. I don't really look back and like regret anything or look back and contemplate or, I guess there's some days where it's like, oh man, I could have did this or something like that. But I understand that everything happens for a reason and that like there's an opportunity to be better, because looking back and just riding on the past thoughts, it just keeps you in a victim mindset, and it just keeps you really persevering into who you can become or who you're about to become. And so I guess I recognized that somewhere after the second band broke up, and you know what? I know when I recognized it. I was with this guy, Ashley Peacock, who is no longer with us, but he was managing me for a while. And after that band broke up, I was really just kind of depressed. Had no idea what to do. And he was like, you need to be Billy Gunther. And I was like, really? Like, because I never really thought of myself like that. I was always just thought of myself as like a bandmate or a side guy or something like that. I was writing songs, but I didn't think anybody wanted to hear him. And then whenever he really, persuade me, or not persuade me, but like help me believe that I could do it for myself. I could be Billy Gunther, So started the band, kind of like all those thoughts are coming in. I'm realizing all those things. I don't even know what I just said. I'm just rambling, but I'm realizing all this stuff, getting older. And after the depressed thing and just, the band just started to form. It's just like I just was believing, I'm just like, okay, I'm going to go here, have these thoughts. Here's Ricky, the bass player, he comes in, and then Kevin Rouse, he comes in on guitar. He just out of Bay City, shows up at the Willie Lounge out of nowhere. All these pieces are forming just right before my eyes, and I'm just like, wow, all these things that I've been like thinking about manifesting for the last 5 years. Because as I've been in these bands, like, it wasn't like what I was imagining. It's like I guess whenever I first started playing music at 19, I wasn't imagining myself playing in that band forever. I was imagining myself playing in front of, a crowd the way that I want to, or whatever, my songs. And that's just what it turned into. I wasn't so spoken about that I wanted that at first. But yeah, I think it was a blessing in disguise that it just happened, around 25, 24 area. That's how old I was whenever that was happening to me. Ran with that. Had great backing, great booking agency. This guy named Kenny Bott, he still helps me out. I do shows with him throughout the years, but he's been a huge help for me and got me in front of national artists and the Swon Brothers. I opened up for them. That was my first show as myself. And those guys took to my music, brought me down to Nashville. I'm like 25 now, and I'm going down there for the first time. And I'm in love with this girl. We've been dating for a few years, and I'm down there, and working on music and doing the whole thing. And we weren't able to work it out, so that ended up not working out, unfortunately. But that one really took me some years to comprehend. I think because of my dad being gone whenever I was younger, something like if I get attached to something and it goes, like I just like don't know what to do. So I didn't really realize what that whole experience was gonna unfold for me. But it was very interesting, and being now at 29, I'm kind of on the outer cuff of that experience. And that has led me to the songs that I'm writing now, and I'm getting ready to record a record in Nashville next week with 3 songs that I really believe in, lyrically, musically, and the team that I have. I think it's really just, I've always, one thing too I want to say is that I always pray every day. Every day I don't go to church that often or anything like that, but I always have like this working relationship with God that helps me instill faith to just believe in what I'm doing. And I grew up with that. I grew up in a religious household. And so that's just something that's just going to be with me forever, But yeah, that's kind of, I feel like that's the gist of, and I know I trailed off a couple times there and some tangents. Like I said, I go off on tangents, but.
No, and you're telling your story genuinely, man. You're remembering in real time moments that shook you, moments that were impactful, things that you're like, man, that really changed me, that altered my course, or that added levels to myself that I didn't have before. Like, life's in a weird way like a video game where the more experience you go through, the more you level up, and the higher level you are, the more you can face bigger, more difficult battles. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
That's how life works. And being shattered, losing someone you love is a devastating event.
It is.
Especially when like you probably had your love for music and this thing that's kept you going. This maybe kept you out of the deepest pits of depression or suicide.
Oh, yeah.
And then you have this woman that you love and you're trying to juggle. You ever see like the famous superhero movies where Superman has to choose between like the woman's going to die or the innocent people are going to die?
It felt like that, dude. It seriously felt like that. The day we broke up, I was in the back of the Grand Ole Opry for the first time. Isn't that crazy? Like, I'm in this sacred place of country music that I'm in, and then I'm losing the love of my life at the same time. That was incredible for me. I was like, wow, all right.
How did you get through that experience, man?
Writing songs, dude. And just music, listening to songs that got me through it. Mostly writing, though. Writing songs. I wouldn't say that I'm completely through it. I think I'm still, battling some things from that, still trying to get a hold of. I'm just more familiar with it now. I know what to do with the thoughts when they come in. I know I don't have to go in a depressive cycle if I think about it or something like that. It's like I can get through them, no problem.
Not to speak of a tragedy in a positive light, but it's probably going to allow you to channel some really powerful messages and emotions through your music because you've now lived them. It's like you become an ambassador for great things by going through serious trials and tribulations. When you go through tremendous pain, you can understand pain more. You can relate to people in pain more. You can evoke more emotion out of people in need. You know what I mean?
It's a beautiful way to look at it.
You are qualified. You're more qualified now because you've gone through more hell. It's like, I always tell a lot of my fighters in here, like, as weird as it is to think about it, like, the way out of suffering is through suffering. Mm-hmm. You have to go through experiences that build your character and give you armor and weapons for the world to be able to combat what is just going to happen to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to happen. And it sounds like that gentleman, Ashley, really put you back in touch with confidence in yourself as a man. It's like,
he did. Yeah.
That's what I heard in that part of your story. And it was funny when you were coming here today, I didn't know anything about you. I didn't even know you were in music. And I was speaking to Josh and I go, man, the name Billy Gunther. I'm like, he sounds either like a war hero or like a country music artist. No joke.
That's
I said,
awesome.
I go, the name Billy Gunther is just like an American, like I love it. And he goes, that's funny. He's a recording artist out of Flint. I'm like, go figure he is. That's not a stage name. That's not an alias. That's your birthright, right?
Yeah.
That's your
yeah.
name.
No, that's my name. Yeah.
Man, Billy Gunther is a man that I would expect if someone said, what is Billy Gunther? I'd say he's a country music artist or he's a war hero.
Yeah.
And so anyway, it's awesome to
awesome.
see you're mid your story unfolding. You're in the middle of your journey right now. And it sounds like you've wrestled with a lot, you've fought with a lot, you're trying to now take all the pain and the positive and the emotions and the experiences and the passion, and you're trying to figure out how this picture fits. And if you can make this picture fit correctly, this could be the breakthrough moment where you then can change the world around you and countless lives through your music.
That's exactly where I feel that I'm at. And it's like some days are better than others right now because I do feel like I'm in this like very integral part of my artistry. And but you know what I'm kind of really focusing on is that's helping me get through it is just focusing on the studio. I got a studio session coming up 2 weeks. I'm just getting these songs down. I'm playing these songs with my boys in the band. We had rehearsal last night. So just really concentrating on the material, you know, and making sure that I'm saying everything that I want to say lyrically and musically. You know, I feel like I've never had a better opportunity to do that than now. Even when I went to the first time I went to the Sound Emporium in Nashville was 2020, like I had a lot of confidence in those songs I was doing there, but I don't know, just musically, I just feel more in touch right now. I just feel really in touch with what I'm doing. And I also, it's weird too, at the same time, I don't feel like sharing it a lot right now. Like I've felt kind of just keeping it aside for a bigger moment, a better moment or something like that, you know? So, which I don't know, sometimes I contemplate that because I've always been a chaser and I've always been a go-getter, which I still am doing. It's just I'm kind of trying to back off of the chasing a bit, you know, because it's kind of, it stresses you out, you know. It's kind of like left me in some stressful moments, you know. It's like I've had a lot of friends, you know, some very important friend in my life, Carrie. He is like one of my mentors, and he just, you know, tell me you just got to calm down and just, you know, not everything's going to happen right now. You know, this is something that's got to unfold. You know, you can't stress out about everything that's going to happen when you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. You really got to roll with the best that you got going right now.
100%, man. And listen, you got to feel worthy of it. That's another thing, that universe or whatever you want to believe in, or God, or whatever belief system you have to feel worthy of what's next. Like your story and your pain and your ups and your downs have all led you to be at this moment. And maybe if we took any of those pains or struggles away from you, maybe you wouldn't be the man that's actually ready to make the step in to the next stage of your career. You had to go through what you did so that when you go down there into this next studio session, you can step in as Billy Gunther, the man that is finally ready and worthy to let your stories be shared with the world.
Absolutely.
And it's like, if you can go in with that type of confidence and energy, I've made mistakes, I've done wrong things, I've messed up, but I've also done great things, and I also can help people, and I also can make a difference, and my voice can matter, and this can all be worth it. You know what I mean? Like, all the struggles against life can be worth it if you just go out there and be the man that you're capable of being. So I think life has put you at an amazing moment, and you got to feel that I am worthy of the success that I could achieve, you know? And I'm excited for you. Just sitting here and talking to you today, I've met you 1 hour ago, and I'm incredibly excited to hear about this next step. Like, walk into that studio and know that, like, every man that has ever recorded a great track in his life had ups and had down, had pain and had wins, had losses, had this, has battled with self-esteem.
Yeah, man.
They have had all the same doubts. They just, when they got in the studio, they let it all hang out and they went for it.
And you get through it.
Some people break through.
I gotta say, man, it's an honor to be here and meeting you too, man. Your story here with the gym is very inspiring, man. Super cool to see.
Thank you, man. And like I said, we're not very different. You'll find out that most people that are living passionately towards the direction of their dreams, They have way more in common than they have different. Like, I'm a plan A person. I'm a go all in person. Passion steers my life. You know what I mean? And I've had to look back at my life and look at the roadmap that got me here. And there's still things to this day that I'm like, man, like I was a lesser version of myself. Well, guess what? When you make mistakes and you do things like that and you feel terrible about them, that is your soul being like, you're leaving the path, man. That's not you. Because if you didn't feel terrible, that's not even a mistake. That's just who you are, and that's what you'll be like for the rest of your life. So everything that I went through, good and bad, showed me who I am and empowered me to then enhance the lives of countless people around me. And now people from all over the world, there's a magnetic pull to this location where people come together and they work to build themselves up in their lives. They work to be empowered and to feel better and to go back to who they were before a lot of the damage. And it's like, that's what passionate people can do.
Yeah, man.
People
And when
follow
you're around
passion.
that environment and you can feel that passion, it just makes you want to be even more passionate, you know, and just share. I feel like that's what leads to sharing love and not feeling shameful for being like, you look great today, or you're awesome. I feel like it doesn't happen a lot. It happens more in the South than it does up here, but I feel like that should just happen more. And stuff like that leads to that happening more.
You're not wrong, man. I mean, the world is dark enough and difficult enough and has enough pain to go around, okay? So if we were there for each other more often and supported each other in the pursuit of our dreams, it would be a more beautiful world. But what you'll find is people that are winning, people that are doing extremely well, they do want to see that in others. It's genuinely the people that they're too buried by the rubble of their life. They're too crushed from circumstances that have happened to them. They're too disempowered by victim mentality or things like that, or they want to point fingers. It's like, you might even be correct. You might even be accurate in your assessments that the world has been unfair to you. But it doesn't change the fact that it is your responsibility to turn your life around.
It is, yeah.
No one's going to do it for you. No one is going to believe in you until you show that the belief in you is significant enough to make you what you want to be. And then at that point, they don't need to believe in you because you've done it. Then they get to say, Billy Gunther is a successful recording artist because he just would not give up and he went all in. It's like, if you get in the mindset like, oh, I just wish people would, they'll believe in you when the time is right. Go make it a reality. You don't have to believe that I'm a professional fighter that owns my own location and trains, because I did it. There's no belief required. It's fact. It's reality. It's like, that's when people will get on board. And it's not that they don't love and support you now. It's that their own psychologies are too damaged and like they're just not able to be at the stage where they can openly love and support you the way that you probably do deserve. But you'll see, the more you surround yourself with other passionate people that are winning, you'll feel that environment.
Absolutely.
And that'll put you back to the man you were before all of it. And you'll see some young kid, 15 years old, playing a guitar, and you'll go up to that kid and say like, do not give up on your dream.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I love
man.
that. Honestly, that's been my biggest goal from the beginning. Literally, I remember telling my mom, like, she was asking me, like, why I wanted to do music. And it was, like, just to inspire people. I want people to feel the feeling that I felt whenever Keith Urban inspired me to play guitar. You know, I'm watching him on YouTube, this music video or whatever, you know, or just that feeling, or going to a concert and feeling so inspired and so, you know, that's what I want to do. I want to put that out there.
I'll make our stories match up exactly. When I was a very depressed kid in a really rough state from life, from my mother and some other things that had happened to me, I saw this guy named Kazushi Sakuraba, and he was a professional fighter out of Japan, and he beat multiple members of the Gracie family. And I looked at him like a real-life superhero. He was an ideal. He was something larger than life. He was my Keith Urban for you. And it gave me a feeling like that is a man that is a superhero among men, doing something that is so grand and served the world in a purpose because he was this heroic, iconic figure to me. And what that did is it put me on a trajectory to say, could I become that type of man in my life? And I pursued that path relentlessly. And the crazy thing is, now, exactly what you just said. I'm 35 years old, so you got 6 years before you're where I am. All I want to do is find the other young Jameses that want some beautiful dream or belief or passion, and I want to give every bit of my soul to helping them achieve it. That's why I'm a coach now, is when I have the young Spencer Rivas and these young kids that are in here killing themselves, trying to be something in this world. If I can facilitate that growth in any way possible, if I can get one more kid through the depression, one more kid through the struggle into a beautiful life, That's all
Absolutely.
it's what I'm dedicating the rest of my life to. But it's also because I was able to fulfill many of my dreams. And I think you're on the exact same trajectory. I think if you break
Yeah.
through,
It's like
you break through, you fulfill your dreams, you become that successful artist, you play in shows all around the world. Every young kid is going to be that young reflection of yourself, and you're going to be able to be the man that young kid needed to say, keep going, kid. You can make it. That's a powerful thing, man.
That's incredible to hear, man. Thank you for sharing that with me. And just so cool that you get to experience that. What a blessing and inspiration. Yourself. That's amazing.
And I don't want to take away from your music journey, but I'll tell you this right now. There's no win I've ever had in my life. Not my first win in Brazil, not, a major jiu-jitsu win I had, my pro boxing debut. No win has ever actually felt as good as watching someone else who started with, from a low tier, who had all the demons and self-doubt and everything, achieve an incredible win and watch them get their hand raised on the international stage. The amount that has poured back into my life, I can't even articulate to you in words. And it's like the wins that I had for myself felt great. But watching other people win, it's like healing for the soul, man. It's like that young kid in me that needed help. It's pouring back into that bucket.
Dude, I love that.
So I really hope that this
relate.
next studio session is incredible for you. I think you've told an amazing story today. I'd love for you just, the way we'll kind of wrap this episode up is just if you were to project, 2 years out, 3 years out, 4 years out, lay out your goals on paper, speak it into the universe, whether you believe in manifesting or things like that. I believe when you put things out clearly and say, this is what I'm working towards. This is the type of man I want to become. This is what I want my life to look like clearly. You set out a challenge that to the world, to yourself, to your subconscious, to the universe, to God, and say, this is what I'm working for. Please give me the strength, perseverance, or any other necessary qualities to help me become that Billy Gunther. What does your life look like in an ideal setting in the next couple years? And then just, anything else we stumble into off a tangent, and then we'll wrap this episode up.
I love it, man. I just see myself on stage, man, playing, living hopefully somewhere in the west side of Michigan on Lake Michigan, and touring with my band, man, every weekend. I want to live have a tour bus and live on the road and, play my music out till the day I die. That's kind of my, that's my true long goal. But, in the meantime, there's awesome experiences that come along with that, I'm excited for it all, the ups and downs, and I feel like what you learn in your 20s is just so detrimental to, how you set yourself up for at least for the people my age going into this next step of life, I guess that's just where I see myself, just on the stages, doing what I do.
Well, I hope to see you there, bro.
Thanks, man.
Sincerely, I've talked to you now for 45 minutes and you feel like a brother because it's the connection of passionate people that pursue something that most can't see.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's magic. So I have a question for you. What do you have to do from this moment in time to have that house on the lake in Michigan, to be touring all over the country with your band? Obviously, you got to crush this next studio session, but in your personal life, in your band, in your professional life, in your relationships, in your branding, what are the things that if you did a little bit better or you stepped up to the plate a little bit more, or there's some dark closets that you haven't opened yet, what are those couple things you need to make happen, Billy?
Man, I feel like, I guess some goals, make some more videos, and don't be, I guess so, held back from it, nervous too, or, it's not that I'm scared to make a video. It's just I see myself, I have a very particular way of how I want to be out there, and sometimes the best way is just to be genuine, and I think sometimes I just have a hard time with that. So I guess that would be one of the goals, is just to make a video, just to make a video and not care, about what I look like or what I sound like or something like that, and just trust that. So that's something I definitely want to overcome, because I feel like, as an artist out there, everybody knows, you can be so judgmental of yourself and how you sound or how you look, whatever, So that, you know,
Well, an authenticity is felt. Did you see that Richmond, north of Richmond
yeah.
video?
Oh, yeah.
That's a dude like in the backwoods,
Yeah.
just
I
belting
felt
out
that.
from the soul. I don't even barely listen to country music. I there's some country music I listen to. I don't even have an exact genre, but that's not my main. I was moved almost to tears watching that music video, and I can't articulate why. I was in the middle of working one day on my computer. I'm setting up some fights, everything. My YouTube was just making suggestions. I saw this video. I'm like, let me click on that. Like it was bizarre. It was there's no reason for me to even click on that video. It's not even the type of music I listen to. I was so blown away. I probably listened to it 10 times in a row. I stopped the work I was doing. I shifted it to my main monitor. And I was like, this man just poured his heart and soul onto a track for the world to see. Mm-hmm. Didn't care. Do you think he cared about what he looked like or da-da-da?
No, it just he might have, but that's not what the point is.
It was so felt and so authentic and genuine that it took the world by storm. It had YouTube reaction videos from every type of person in a matter of days. He's on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Yeah.
He talked about the fact that he had been struggling with drugs and all these things terribly, and he gave his life over to Jesus and said, like, you know, Lord, just let me know what I have to do, and like I am your servant. I will do whatever I have to do to just to go on. Like, what do you want me to do? Next thing you know,
that
he
spoke
produced.
to me.
It was incredible, man.
And honestly, I can relate to it too. I mean, who can't? I mean, I feel that way, you know, about some of the things I do. You know, I'm in music, so you know, there's lots of things that come with that. You know, drinking or, you know, smoking weed or you know, out late, you know, partying. There's lots of those cases where it's not that I don't think makes me a bad person or I think makes somebody a bad person, but it's just getting a hold of those vices that become addictions, you know, is just, that's been a goal of mine that I'm not the best at, you know, but yeah, you know, I guess that would be a possible goal. I think, you know, something I could say that I could work towards is that I think that would better my life, you know, is less of the party atmosphere that comes on with music and more of just the business atmosphere, you know?
Sure, and like I said, letting your soul and passion be seen, man. Like,
And there's a
'cause
time and place for both.
Exactly.
But
There's a time and place to celebrate the fact that you're on stages across the country. Little Billy grew up and he's doing it. He's
Yeah.
on the stages. He made it. That first guitar purchase was the best $500 investment on planet Earth. Like, you know, there's a time and a place, but it's like those things can't control you. You have to control them.
Exactly.
And that's the self-mastery that you're searching for. And it's like if you can get yourself into that point where you feel good enough to like, you know what, when I make the decision to do those things, it's because I want to and it's not in any way stopping the path that I'm walking down. That's what you're seeking. So, man, I think we've recorded an incredible episode today. I think this is one that fans of yours around the world will appreciate this forever because this was an authentic look, a glimpse into the man that's going to be on stage before you found out if the dream would come to fruition or not. And that's a beautiful thing because once it's already real, your perspectives will be changed forever.
Yeah, I know.
But the man that sits here today with the challenge right ahead of like this studio, I'm going to go down there and crush this thing. I'm going to go down there and pour every bit of my soul into these sessions. I'm going to know that I am worthy of it despite any setbacks or pains or the battles I have with my vices. Guess what? Everybody else has those too.
Absolutely.
It's time for Billy Gunther to record the best tracks of his life, to make my bandmates proud, to make everyone that's ever supported me proud, to show the world what's possible. It's time to go get it. And I think you'll look back and appreciate this and say, good job that you kept going
dude.
for it, kid.
I really appreciate the encouragement.
No, bro. Listen, any barrier that you believe exists doesn't fully exist.
I totally believe
you can
that.
break it. So I hope you go for it. I hope your dreams are really big, and I hope you're able to inspire countless other people. And, you know, maybe one day we'll shoot a part two. Maybe after you've toured the whole world and you buy your dream home and on the lake, and, you know, we can bring you back in, and then we could speak to all the young people with a dream and say, hey, here's all the demons I dealt with.
Yeah.
Here's all the ups and downs. Here's the good decisions and the bad decisions. But it's been one hell of a ride, and it was all worth it.
I love that.
All right, brother. Well, we will actually do me a favor. Please shout out your music, your Instagram, your Facebook, any plugs that you could possibly put where people can listen to you, yada, yada, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, Billy Gunther and the Midwest Riders. You can look us up on YouTube or Spotify, iTunes, Facebook, Instagram, or you can just look up Billy Gunther, and I have some tunes out myself as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, man. Best of luck to you.
Thank you, brother.
It was an honor to sit with you today.
You too.